Nice, doesn't seem too jumpy. Let's try and get closer. So white rhino. There we go. Let's try and find a gear. Easy way to know that it's a white rhino. If it's a black rhino in Sabi Sands, you'll see me jumping up and down for the next 5 minutes. We don't see them here very often. Also just looking at the bulk and the shape. This is definitely a white rhino, also known as a square-lipped rhino. Unfortunately, they seem to want to disappear from our view here. Going into the thicker bushes. Just let the game drivers know quickly. They're all always keen to see rhino. All stations got Kombi and a half here at that pan on Yala Road South at the Redwoods. Stationary in the Strategy. Give them a couple of minutes, hopefully they settle down with us a little bit. I don't recognize this female and youngster outright. We haven't seen them many times before. Had a brief look at that calf, but it looks like probably about a 10-month-old calf or so, just under a year old. You can see those ears just turning and twisting, just listening. Checking out the environment of the ears. Just don't want to move for the moment. If we move now, she might just go further into that bush.
Let's go.
I mentioned this often before, but just a reminder again of why we're just sitting here nice and tight, is that rhinos react usually or largely to their hearing and to their smell. That's their two strongest senses. Eyesight's not that great. So whether they decide to run further into that thick bush or maybe move out into the open a little bit depends pretty much on how much noise and movement we make. If we just sit nice and quiet, hopefully she decides, okay, we're not too much of a threat. Maybe she moves out a little bit, or at least into a bit of a gap. Definitely mother and calf. The calves tend to stay with the females. It varies a little bit. Anything up to, if it's a female calf, as long as 6-7 years. It's a male calf, typically about 3-4 years. Typically they actually stay until the next calf is born, so that's about 4 years on average, that sort of cycle of it. Long gestation as well, 16 months gestation period. Here's the little one sticking its head out. With a stick. Fortunately, we sort of disturbed them a little bit as we came around the corner. I think they were intent on having a bit of a mud wallow here. This pan that we're at, not the greatest for drinking, but it's nice and develop, and that's normally around about a year or so. That front horn, the one that's starting to progress quite nicely here, you can normally start seeing in about 6 months. So again, if it's a really small rhino, but you can see that little front horn starting to bulge out, it's normally about 6-7 months old. Well, I think as all, oh, maybe she's going to turn. I was just going to say, as always, humans have less patience than animals. Let's give it a few more seconds, otherwise we're going to see if we can't get another gap somewhere to look at them. Thinking about it. I think this pool is obviously still quite attractive to them. It's nice and cool. Even though the sun is just about to set, we've got about 15 minutes or so until sunset. It's still quite hot out here, so